Let's see. Turn it on. Turn it on. All right. We are live. We are live. Welcome back to the show. I'm Hank Strange. You are watching the Who Moved My Freedom podcast. It's going to be an awesome show today, so you guys need to get buckled in. Of course, we're going to start with our accolades. And listen, we did this. We hired ninjas to break into Glock's top secret vault hidden under a mountain in the Black Forest of Austria. Yes, there's actually a Black Forest in Austria. Not the chocolate Black Forest that's in Germany or whatever. This thing's hidden on the mountain. It was not easy. We had to get specifically ninjas that could phase shift. So we got them. We got them to break into the vault. They got the schematics for the Glock carbine, which we'll be talking about here, and they found a declaration that the Who Moved My Freedom podcast is the best 2A podcast on the planet, bar none. They call it perfection. That's right. You could say Glock perfection. The Who Moved My Freedom podcast. Let me also suggest you guys go to hankstrange.com. Sign up for our email list. Lola is throwing up deals, all kinds of cool things up there. If you go to the Strangerholics tab as well, you will be able to find all the different platforms that we're on. In case some craziness happens, we get deplatformed. Check out US Law Shield. They sent me, I'm in Florida, so they sent me this cool Florida gun law book. You can sign up for US Law Shield through us. Save yourself a couple of bucks there on if you get a annual plan. As well as, you know, a couple of shekels coming our direction. Helps us pay the bills around here. So we appreciate that. Big shout out to Barnauls, sponsor of the show. Check it out. I got some, this box is gonna be all torn up, and I still won't shoot it because it's 9mm. I like to flex on people, Jordan. There it goes.
You deserve it.
Yeah, there goes my Barnauls. My Barnauls. Let me see. This is steel case right here. So, subsonic. No less. Subsonico. Let's see. Can I get it? There you go. Look at that. The Subsonics. Beautiful. Yeah. So, alright. Let's smash the open and get into this.
Welcome back to the Hank Strange situation.
Alright guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel, smash the thumbs ups, ring the bell so you can be notified every time we go live. We are live. Ding-a-ling-a-ling. School bell a ring. Some people out there might know what that is if you're into Shabarankin. You know, who knows about Shaba? I'm not sure how old you are, Jordan, but, you know, I kind of, like, grew up in the 80s in New York City.
I'm 36.
You're 36? Oh, okay, yeah, I grew up in I'm 49, so I grew up in the 80s, you know. And that was my dude right there, Shabaranks. You know, so anyone who knows Shabaranks out there, big up, let me know about it. This is the Who Moved My Freedom podcast. Jordan, we got to do jazz hands.
Come on, I did it earlier. I was going for it earlier.
Yeah, here we go. Jazz hands. I hope you guys have your big girl panties on tonight. This is episode 764 of the Who Moved My Freedom podcast. We're talking about ATF proposed rules, how they affect the industry with Jordan Vinro of JSD Supply. Jordan, welcome to the show, man. How's it going?
Good. Thanks for having me on again.
Absolutely, man. What's been going on since the last time you've been on the show? Lots.
Lots of stuff.
Everything. The whole.
Everyone's coming after us.
Yeah, the whole world.
Yeah.
Listen, real quick here. I'm gonna do this before we jump in. We got to give some people some shout outs out there because they gave us some money. We appreciate those guys. Shout out to Real Cujo. Here we go.
Money.
We're getting complicated here. That's Gorillas and Guns singing our theme here. So Real Cujo gave us $10 here. I appreciate it. He says, name the classic movie. Here's some Swiss cheese and some bullets. What classic movie did that come from? Some Swiss cheese and some bullets. I don't. Was that The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly? I don't know. If anyone could name it, you could, Jordan.
Nah, I don't know.
Yeah. If you could name that movie, let us know, please. We seriously appreciate that out there. Let me see, and then we got another. We just got another super chat. Let me throw that up here.
Money.
Yeah. Hopefully you get sick and tired of hearing that, Jordan. That's from Zach Carr. He gave us $2. He says shekels, you say? There you go. Shekels, you say. That's from him. Let's Gunmetal guy says Shaba and Maxi. Yeah, I like Maxi too. Yeah, they did. I think they did a couple of songs together. So and then he says typos because he kind of messed it up there. So like everyone, smash your thumbs ups and all that. This is gonna be good. We're gonna have a great conversation once we catch up with Jordan of JSD Supply. Jordan, for the folks who have not seen you, been on the podcast already, can you tell them who you are and what is JSD Supply?
Sure. So I'm the owner of JSD Supply. We sell 80% receivers and all the parts to go with it for your home build firearms. We've developed the 6-hour P320, 80%. We call it the MUP1. The jig with that. And then we have some slides and barrels on their way out as well. So P365, the MUP 247, we call it. That should be coming out soon. I keep saying that over and over, but I promise this time.
Yeah, I don't see that. Is that on the website?
It was. If you click 6 hour, probably it's under that.
I saw the 6 hour. Oh, is the P3? Yeah, so it should be.
Yeah,
let's see.
Third one over. Out of stock, it says on the.
Oh, there you go. Oh, the MUP 247.
Yeah.
Oh, look
Just
at
a
that.
generic picture of it.
So, is it out? Is it actually out of
No.
stock, or it's not in stock yet to be out of stock?
It hasn't been in stock yet. No, it's going through some
Okay.
final testing and that sort of thing. So we should have it. Actually, we should bring it to the IB 8888 shoot with us
Awesome, awesome.
next weekend. So you'll be able to see it there.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing you guys up there. That'll be cool. That looks cool. A lot of that's hotly anticipated, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's a tough little part to make, so it's taken a while.
Yeah. I can imagine, man. So, take your time, get it, get it as close to perfection, if not beyond perfection, as possible. Yeah. Are you guys?
Hank Strange perfection.
Yeah. Well, not everyone's not gonna get there. It's perfection. It's perfection without perfection. It's really horrible perfection, but it's so horrible it's perfect.
Yeah.
That's what we do. That's what we do around here. Oh, is someone? Tremors. Michael Malone says Tremors. Okay, I missed that. People answering that. I guess a bunch of people already answered that because Real Cujo gave that to us before we even started. So big thanks to Real Cujo out there. I appreciate it. Real Cujo, I heard, is getting a Tesla. Lola has a Tesla. And Real Cujo's getting into a Tesla. Gun guys getting up on Teslas.
Yeah.
What do you
I have
think?
a Tesla.
Oh, you have a Tesla? Look at that!
Yeah.
Boom! Look, did you hear Lola?
I heard her. Yeah, I hear you, Lola.
Which one do you have? Which Tesla do you have?
It's a Model S P100D.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your 0 to 60? What is that, like 3 something?
I think it's 2.4. I think
2
is
point.
rated.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. How often do you hit that?
Every day.
Every day. Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Kudos.
Yeah.
Kudos to you. Where are you guys? Tell the folks where you guys are located again. I can't remember if you already said it.
Yeah. So in a little town called Prospect, PA. So north of Pittsburgh, maybe 45 minutes or so. Western Pennsylvania.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Is that anywhere near Street Speed 717?
No, I'm in Philadelphia, on the other side of the state.
Oh, he's on the other side. Okay. If you ever see him out there, you got to race him in that, man. You got, I think you can beat him.
I'll see if I can get him.
Yeah, I think you can. If anyone can do it, it's you. So let's see. Lamar Greenwood says, "What show is that with IV8888?" You want to explain to folks what that is?
Yeah, this is my first time going, so I think it's a bunch of media, kind of like a media day, show off some new products, range day, test out some stuff, and burn through a bunch of ammo that nobody has.
Yeah. It's basically like it's basically an event for the folks who are in social media like YouTube and Instagram and stuff like that Iraq Veteran does, and there's lots of different people that come through from different sides of the industry. There are industry folks who come out there, and there's booths and stuff like that. But really, if people want to know how to get into it, you kind of have to be on the folks invited are on our side of the industry, and a lot of people make videos and things like that that go out there. They've been doing it for a lot of years now, at least 5 or 6 years, I think.
Yeah, good friend of ours goes to it. So he developed a couple different. He developed the Keystone Arms cricket rifle, their CPR stock. So he's gone down there a couple of years for that.
Okay.
So now he's got his own company. So we're kind of going with him and showing off some stuff. He's showing off some stuff. So should be a good time.
Yeah, yeah. So a bunch of stuff going on. I'm sure. Here's what we should do. Let's let the folks out there tell us what they want to talk about first in the news. Couple things in the news. This NRA is in the news. We could talk about that if you guys want to. Let us know. Obviously, ATF is. I don't know, Jordan. You might not have heard of this, man. The ATF has some new rules they're proposing. Have you? It's come across your desk.
That's the first I'm hearing about that.
Yeah, so we could talk about that if you guys want to. Tell us right now. What do you want to talk about right now out of those two things? And I'm waiting for the people to tell us what they want to talk about. And it's in Georgia. Lamar Greenwood wants to know where it's at. It's in Georgia. It's in Georgia, or I think that's how you're supposed to pronounce it. So it's in Georgia somewhere, undisclosed location in Georgia.
That's right.
Yes. Over the weekend, when you hear big booms, it's not this weekend. It's next weekend.
Yeah, next weekend.
Yeah, not this one coming. When you hear the big booms in Georgia somewhere, that's where it's at. I've seen a bunch of cops come up there because of the booms. I've seen it happen. Like Lola and I one time were conveniently leaving at the time.
Yeah.
And we're like, uh-oh. We saw I don't know, I think it was 5 or 6 police cars coming in at one time. I was like, oh, this is a good time right here.
Yeah, good time to leave.
Yeah.
It's at a gun range though, right? Like a normal gun range?
Yeah, it's always at a gun range. Lots of people out there helping out with safety and stuff like that. I think it's a cool event. It's kind of like a media day kind of thing for the folks on the industry side and the people on what we can call the marketing side of that, social media side of it, to just kick it, talk about stuff and all of that. It's a good opportunity for everyone to meet in person. Jordan, we actually met in person already.
Yeah,
so.
Sawmill. Yeah.
Yeah. How was the Sawmill? While I'm waiting to hear what people want to talk about, I'm waiting to see the results coming in from folks. How did you find the Sawmill? How was that?
Yeah, it was awesome. The weather kind of prevented, a large turnout, but there was plenty of people that showed up. It's an awesome event. Got to try all kinds of different rifles, and there was some full auto stuff. We never shot that. It was, as far as I know, all of it was free to shoot those guns, I think. But yeah, it was awesome. So I got to shoot a SIG Cross rifle, and I think they look cool. So I've not had a chance to shoot one yet. So I shot one there and made it look like I knew what I was doing. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I agree with you. It was I didn't get a chance to shoot everything, but I think it was cool because it was a smaller event than Media Day, which Media Day is always insane. You can't obviously get around to everything. The most enjoyable part for me is seeing a couple of gun guys that I saw out there. Like I saw Johnny B out there. I saw yourself, and some other folks out there. But just getting to kick it with everyone, for me is always fun. So I did do a couple of videos there. Didn't do anything with JSD Supply, man.
Next time.
Yeah, but you were very busy. I saw you guys were really, really busy over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to get together and do some stuff. So when you're out, one of these days when you're out in Florida, come on the Hacienda, bring some cool guns, and we'll do some stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And, I think behind the scenes we have some stuff in the works. I don't know if we'll talk about it right now. But, it's up to you. I don't mind. But, we'll be doing some things that the people will see.
Yeah, for sure.
Coming up here. So it looks like, let's see, Okay, there's no clear thing. I see people talking about the gas pipelines. Uh, there's lots of talk of the gas pipelines going on here. Are you familiar with that situation?
I read a little bit about it today. I guess what they got hacked or something, and then a ransomware. I don't know. Shut down
Yeah.
the pipeline.
Yeah, so let me see. Let me see what. So here, let's pull this up. Let's see if I could pull up something on it, and we'll get into this real quick then, because I see more people talking about this right now in the chat. I'm letting the people decide. Man, I'm just being magnanimous today. Okay, so pumps run dry on day 5 of Colonial Pipeline cyber attack. Cars line up outside stations across the South, and American Airlines is forced to add refuel stop to long-haul flights as gas prices near 7-year high. So it says there's a couple of bullet points here. The FBI has confirmed that DarkSide, a Russian hacking outfit made up of ransomware veterans, was responsible for the attack on Colonial Pipeline. Why are they even... Oh my god, so some of this stuff shouldn't even be on the internet. The pipeline, which runs from Texas to New Jersey and transports 45% of the East Coast fuel supply, was hacked 5 days ago. And Colonial said it was working to substantially resume operations by the end of the week, but reports of gas shortages are already emerging along the East Coast. Gas stations in Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, and Virginia had shortages, and obviously it's talking about some airports and stuff like that had some shortages. You are in the Pennsylvania area, so you haven't been affected, right?
I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think. I drive a Tesla, so I don't stop for gas.
I was waiting for that. I was just waiting for that. I was just waiting for that. So we have so I know today in like so for example, Babyface, myself, and Walter, we have like a text chat that we do with each other to keep each other notified of what's going on. And Babyface was saying, "Hey guys, you better fill up your tanks and get gas and stuff like that." And I was kind of like flexing on him, even though I don't drive the Tesla. I was like, "Yeah, we got a Tesla for these situations." Yeah. But Lola drives it. Lola drives it. The thing is, when I left the house and I was driving, because I'm parked in front of Patrick's house right now. When I was driving over here, oh yes, there were lines of gas stations. I passed a couple of gas stations that were empty because there's no gas.
That's crazy.
So yeah, it's already an effect. It's an effect
Wow.
here. So yeah.
Wow.
And like we're right off of Gainesville's right off of I-75, so that's like a major corridor, and I think that
Right.
makes it get affected, really quick because everyone's on the highway and then they're getting off and getting refueled and stuff like that. So tough times.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is one of the reasons why we have a Tesla. So, to which Patrick was saying, well, guess what? You're not going to get any electricity if there's no gas, no fuel, or no, how should I put it? Not gas, but petroleum, right?
Yeah.
But Florida, I looked this up. Florida is 72% natural gas making electricity. So
Nice, clean burning natural gas.
it's it's a lot cleaner than others. Look, I'm not trying to save the planet or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we should preserve it, but I'm not going to go out of my way probably to not live my life. So
yeah, I enjoy nature. I enjoy nature. Right. I live in the country. I've got 6 acres, nothing but trees and squirrels and stuff, and coyotes, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was literally yesterday on the property. Let me see if I have footage. There was a coyote on our property yesterday, man. In the middle of the day at noon. Lola was like, "What is this thing that's in the front yard?" And I went out there, and it was a coyote. And it kind of ran away when I went out there. I was gonna shoot it, but I didn't want to just go out guns blazing, because obviously, there's traffic and stuff like that in the front. There's you have to know what's in front of you.
Yeah.
Before you start shooting at coyotes. Let me see if I can run this in for people real quick. But just to show you guys that we live in the middle of nature, check that out. Coyote, right there, walking around on my property.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, he's gonna get it.
We have some coyotes out here too. We live out in the middle of the woods, and
Hmm.
there's, I don't know, probably a couple hundred acres of woods behind us and kind of around us. So they just logged it last year, and so the woods is kind of opened up, and there's fox. There's a giant fox out back.
Hmm.
A little while ago now, but yeah,
Mhm.
it's crazy listening to them howl at night occasionally, and my dog will go crazy too, thinking thinking
Yeah.
these dogs are in territory or whatever. So
Yeah. Yeah. Crackbot says, where do you think they get the natural gas from? Pipelines. Oh, yeah.
nature,
Yeah. It's natural gas. I'm assuming it's cow farts? No.
yeah,
We've got a lot of natural gas in America, actually. A lot.
yeah,
A
yeah,
lot of natural gas in America. So one of the things I want to do with, like I said, I am not trying to save the planet. I think a Tesla is convenient. Lola loves it. I got the Tesla because I wanted to see whether I like Tesla or not, because I put in for the Cybertruck.
nice,
Yeah, I think I'm like $250,000 on the line. That's my position.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm $250,000, which sounds
I haven't
bad.
decided.
No,
Yeah,
you
I
you
haven't
did
decided if I want one yet. I don't
you
know.
you didn't put in for it yet.
No, I should have. It was only $100. I should have done it just to do it.
You'd
But
have to get on the line, man. The line is probably close to $1 million right now.
yeah, I don't know.
So
Hold
I'm in.
on. The
I'm
specs
in
are
the,
good, but I don't know how it looks.
yeah, I'm like by the time I put in my $100, I was like 200 and something thousand. So it's gonna be years. It's gonna be years. So I said,
Yeah.
let me get a Tesla, and I saw the Model Y. I got to use one, Model Y, and I
Hmm.
was like, this is cool. It looked good,
Yep.
but Lola fell in love with it. You know why? She don't have to stop for gas.
Yeah. That's one of the biggest things I hate doing is stop or planning out. Now I got to stop and go get gas. Now
Yeah.
it stinks on a road trip or something, but just cruising around town or whatever I do, normally I
It's
wake up
not.
with a full tank of gas and that's it.
Yeah, it's not really that bad on a road trip, because Lola and I we actually went up to see Eric and Chad from IV 8888 a few months ago, and I'm supposed to put out a video, which I will at some point, on Stranger Palooza, where we do car stuff. We went to see
Yeah.
those guys, and I think on the way we stopped one time to supercharge, and then we got up to our hotel, and the hotel wasn't set up for charging, but they had plugs out front next to the air conditioning unit, and they let me plug in there. So
Oh, nice.
yeah, every night I just plugged in there, and then when I got to Eric's place, I just plugged in into his garage. And I was good to go. So it really wasn't that bad. And the one thing about Tesla over other things, and by the way, if anyone is listening to us that's interested, we do actually have a code that if you buy a Tesla through our code, I get like 1,000 free supercharging miles. So
Yeah.
actually, Real Cujo already used our code. So when his thing goes
Nice.
through, we're gonna get that 1,000 miles. But the beauty of the thing about Tesla that's better than a lot of the other electric car companies, if you get a Tesla, you can go to the superchargers, or you can go to all the other places. If you get another vehicle, different kind of vehicle, you can't go to the Tesla superchargers. So
Right.
you're limited.
Yeah. And the technology is crazy. Do you have autopilot in yours?
I do have autopilot, not full self-driving, but we didn't pay for the full self-driving, so like if you're on the highway, it could steer
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think the full self-driving is still in beta. I haven't gotten it yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I use autopilot every day. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's like 10 grand. Someone is
Yeah.
yeah, the juice is pretty mad about this right now. Let me see. Let me get what the juice is saying. He says we don't have to save the planet. That's another hoax. The Earth renews itself every time. Nothing humans can do to save it. It saves itself. It's called floods, supervolcanoes, ice age. Yeah, I'm totally with you on that. It's convenience.
Yeah.
What what do you think? What year is your Model S?
2016. I bought it
2006.
used last
Okay.
year, I think.
What color
Yeah.
did you get?
Red.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
You didn't get the old man champagne color or whatever they call that thing.
Oh, no.
That's so disgusting.
Yeah, I hate it. Oh.
Yeah. So give me like a quick thing on this here. What do you think? Would you get another one?
Um, so I've been having like little issues with the door handles and stuff like that. So,
Mhm.
barring any of that stuff, it's an amazing car. I'd definitely
Mhm.
get another one. Performance is amazing, and the
Mhm.
technology is crazy. So, yeah, for sure. I like how quiet it is too. I don't like,
Mhm.
you know,
Mhm.
a lot of road noise or whatever. So, yeah.
Are the door handles trying to get your fingers or something? That's what I always worry
Yeah,
about
like it
with it.
just won't open sometimes.
Okay.
The cables, it's a poor design. The
Mhm.
cables are really teeny inside, and they rub against one of the
Mhm.
actuators, and
Mhm.
basically short circuits it, and you got to
Mhm.
have it replaced. So I got a warranty, so I don't have to pay for it, but it's just a
Mhm.
pain waiting for them to come. And I had a
Mhm.
window regulator. It's just small stuff. Window regulator went out, so I
Mhm.
couldn't raise and lower my passenger window, and uh, I think a headlight went out, the LED on my headlight, just little
Mhm.
stuff, but it's nitpicky, but it's an
Mhm.
expensive car. It shouldn't
Mhm.
it shouldn't break,
Yeah,
So
that's true. Yeah, you can't
yeah.
argue that. I think that's the one thing there. I see them more like phones. They're not they don't
Yeah.
have the build quality like Audi for example.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think they're more like phones, and so they're convenient for the upgrades that you get to the software and stuff like that. I'm sure you've been getting some of the cool upgrades that are getting rolled out all the time, right? And so the car is improving on you.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it gets better with every update or,
Hmm.
and it just does it overnight and you don't have to do anything. So
Yeah. Putang Clan says, I'm gonna buy that JSD whip hella cheap when he's done with it. Shout out to Putang Clan out there. He's scheming on that car, man. Yo, that
he'll be
kid.
he'll be down in Iraq IV
Oh,
88
yeah.
too. So
Didn't I
yeah.
see him? Didn't I see him in South Carolina? I thought
Yeah,
I
yeah,
did.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. um, You know what the thing is though? Look, electric car is probably going to last longer. I know that there's some issues like you're having, but there's probably forums and stuff like that where you could fix a lot of this stuff as long as it's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
major.
I could fix it all myself, but with the
Hmm.
warranty, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
waste my time doing that. The
Oh.
drivetrain's awesome though, the battery and the motors and stuff. I
Hmm.
mean, that doesn't skip a beat. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty amazing.
Yeah. You don't have to do oil changes.
Yeah, right.
You just have to do. Have you changed tires at all?
Yeah, I just replaced them wintertime. Yeah,
Okay. All right.
a couple
Cool.
months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When you go on trips, do you go with this Model S?
I have. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
my brother lives in central Pennsylvania, so we'll
Mhm.
drive out there 4 hours or so, and I'll charge
Mhm.
halfway and then charge again when I get there, so I have some
Mhm.
juice for the way home to make it to the charger again. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Putang Clan says nobody sees me. Hashtag ghost gunning. Uh, okay. Next time I'm taking a picture of you then. So yeah, and then someone says Audi isn't exactly known for incredible build quality. No, I would argue that. I think Audi, especially nowadays, is pretty good build quality. What I don't like is a lot of like their software is pretty shitty, to be honest with you. So like I had an Audi R8. Well, I've got one now, but I had the second gen one, and the reason why Audi bought that back from me was the software. That's how bad it was. Mechanically, there
Wow.
was no issues with that car, but they couldn't fix the software issues that it had, and it just had one display screen, which was everything. And
Oh
sometimes
yeah.
sometimes it would blank out on me. The only thing that worked consistently was the gauges showing how fast I'm going, but the other things didn't work. Like navigation works through there, and it didn't work, and then connecting to Apple CarPlay and all kinds of things. And they basically gave up because they were like, yeah, yeah, we're not too good with software.
That's crazy. So we'll just buy it back. Just we'll give it.
Yeah,
Here's a different one. Yeah.
yeah. That's why I haven't gotten an electric Audi yet, because it's like
Yeah.
they're not going to be anywhere near Tesla when it comes to that. So
Yeah.
and
I think once Mercedes or Audi or any kind of top tier brand makes one, Tesla's going to be in trouble, or at least have some competition to improve, I guess you could say.
I think maybe eventually. I mean, Audi's come, like they've got the e-tron GT, which is nice, but the software is not there. And then Porsche did the Taycan, and then Audi's going to have the e-tron GT, which is basically the same thing as the Taycan. But and they're beautiful. They're beautiful cars. The Audi version of that thing is exceptionally good looking. I don't know if it's going to beat Tesla yet. I think that what Ford did with the Mach-E is probably the closest thing that I've seen, and I haven't actually seen it in person. I've just been looking at a bunch of different videos on it. Full disclosure on that. I'm trying to get my hands on one of the Mach-E's, but that's come the closest from what I've seen, like me looking into it.
Cool. Yeah, I haven't checked out the Mach-E. I've seen a couple drive, and I haven't actually looked into them yet.
Yeah, they look pretty good. I mean, I know people are mad because, that whole, the Mustang Mach name or whatever, just a Mustang name, people are mad about that. But I think it looks really good. They copied a lot of stuff that Tesla does, and in some cases maybe they did it better. So I think it's going to be really, really competitive with stuff like the Model Y that's out there. So Eric Hammond says, Hank, Audi is awesome, but here's a 10-page list of problems I have with my Audi that they bought back under a lemon law. Yeah. Listen, everything is two-sided here, man. It's not, you know. You know how many, I've had so many cars, I don't think any car company makes perfect cars.
Yeah, no. They all break.
Yeah, or they have some issue. Well, okay, I've had Toyotas, and like I had a 4Runner, and there was no problems with that 4Runner, but my issue was like the Toyota 4Runner is so freaking archaic. You get in it, and it's like a car from the 90s.
Yeah, they haven't updated. They finally just started updating the look of their cars too. Finally, so some of those Toyotas are looking pretty good. I like the new Camry; looks pretty nice.
Yeah, the Tacoma and the what's the Tacoma, and then what's the other one? Toyota Tacoma. What's the
Tundra?
other big Tundra? Yeah, the Tacoma and the Tundra look good, and they have better electronics inside, but they're made here. The 4Runner is made in Japan. So the Japanese are like, this is good enough for you guys. we're not upgraded anything.
Yeah, this will last forever, so we're not changing it.
Yeah. But a great vehicle. I'm just saying to people, there's two sides to everything. I always like to talk about that. And I'm going to get back to gun stuff because obviously Jordan's not here to talk about car stuff, but we're dudes. Would you consider yourself a car guy?
I can be.
Okay.
Certain aspects, I guess, yeah.
Oh, okay. But, there's two sides to everything, just like in the gun world. Okay, so, let's see, because now people are all on that. They're on that thing. Okay, we covered the pipeline, which transitioned into talking about cars. But let's get to what's going on with the ATF. How did this news? How did you guys find out about this news? I'm very interested in that because it is a big deal for your side of the industry.
Yeah, I don't know how we initially found out about it. I think I saw somebody's post on Instagram or something with a link to it, to an article. The Reload, I think, made the leak for that for the 107-page document, before they actually announced it on Friday. So, I mean, phone lines have been burning up, talking to everybody. Talked to GOA quite a bit, and John Crump, of course. So we're just trying to wade through it and see what we think will actually stick or what won't. And it's hard to say. There's so many contradicting things in it. Some of it says that dealers like me will be able to sell either the receiver or the parts, but not both. Another piece says it's going to be some things are going to be grandfathered in. Another piece says basically everything's a firearm, it sounds like, which I guess it's not going to affect current stuff, but anything in the future that doesn't fall in line with what we currently have could require a serial number, and it's going to totally disrupt the production chain too, I think. A lot of manufacturers don't manufacture every single piece of the firearm they sell. There's different stages of manufacture that aren't firearms until they become firearms. So, plastic injection mold, that grip's not a firearm until, the rails are cut or whatever. So there's going to be a huge, delay or whatever with production as far as that goes, if this comes into law.
Yeah. Have you guys had lawyers take a look at it, any of this proposed stuff yet?
I know GOA's lawyers are looking at it right now, so nobody really looked at it real close until Friday because the leaked version, they could change anything on it. So why spend a whole lot of time on that?
Yeah, I think the leaked version was 107 pages, like you said, but what's out there now is about 115 pages.
Yeah.
So
I haven't got a chance to read the new one yet, so I read some of it. But.
Yeah, we were going over it yesterday, so I know there's some questions. If you guys have questions on this, hit me with it now, and we'll ask Jordan. We'll get into it. We got lots of time here to get into it. From what I saw, the big takeaway is that they are making. First of all, if a manufacturer out there isn't an FFL, in order to make these, they're kind of saying you're going to have to be an FFL. Is that what you guys see?
You mean the 80% receivers you're saying?
Yes. So if you're going to make 80% receivers, or what do they call it?
PMF.
Privately
made firearm or something.
Yeah,
privately made firearm.
Yeah, privately manufactured firearms or whatever they put that craziness under. So for the people making it, it looks like they will have to be FFLs if they're not already. And if they are already, and then when they obviously become them, they will have to serialize them before they go out.
Yeah, I'm not sure that it's super clear. We kind of talked about that, both sides of it. If everything's grandfathered in, then does that mean that the determination letters that are already out there for us, for Polymer 80, for all the AR-15 manufacturers, do those still qualify, I guess you could say, as a non-firearm object? So we're not really sure. But as far as this law goes, a Polymer 80, for instance, that grip, it appears to be a firearm or a part to a firearm. So
something like this.
Is a firearm. Yeah, exactly. That right there. If it wasn't finished, they would consider that a firearm because it appears to be one.
Right.
So that brought us down the path.
And this is not a real gun, YouTube. It's just a plastic frame. There's no barrel or even a trigger in it or anything like that. Yeah. Not a gun. Allegedly.
Yeah. So, along with that conversation comes, what about toys? We went the whole way down that path. What about airsoft? A good friend of mine just bought a BB gun for his son. Well, for him, but for his son.
Right. Exactly.
But it looked like an AR-15. He handed it to me. I thought, oh, that's cool. You got a new AR. What is it? Oh, it's a BB gun. It looks just like an AR-15. The lower receiver looks just like an AR-15. So that would be considered a firearm under this law or proposed rule change. So I don't know what to make of it yet. It's not very clear, of course. There was a Senate Judiciary Committee hearing today. I watched that, and the woman, she's a historian. I forget her name.
Yeah, I saw Cruz was talking about it too. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
What was the point she made?
I lost my train of thought. So
okay.
I'll come back to it.
Yeah, I did see Cruz speaking about this at the hearing as well. I mean, he said this is ridiculous. There's not a problem. First of all, which I agree with, there's not a problem. We had the former ATF agent Vince Sheffield on the show, and I've spent a lot of time working on getting snippets up to put that out there for people. And he says it's not a problem. And this is a guy who worked for the ATF for 30-something years. Yeah.
Oh, she said that this puts the control or the decision in the director's hand of the ATF and not written law. So that was a huge point there that one guy or lady could make a decision that totally disrupts the entire industry, and then it could change the next director that comes in. So that shouldn't pass. just based on that alone.
Yeah, Putang says Ashley Habinski. Habinski.
Yeah, yeah,
It
she
looks
did a
like
great
it.
job. She also mentioned that the Maxim silencer said it's not silent, it's marketing.
Hmm.
If he didn't call it a silencer, we wouldn't be calling those
Hmm.
devices that today because that's not what they do.
Hmm.
So her point to that also, because there's a statement in this rule change that they're going to consider the marketing materials and that sort of thing is to base their decision on what a firearm is or is not.
Hmm.
So her point was that this device was called a silencer when it was invented. It is not a silencer. It's a
Yeah.
muffler at best.
Hmm.
So her point was marketing and language, a description of it, I guess, shouldn't be
Yeah, I mean,
used to
like in any
consider
other
firearm.
industry, right? In any other industry, it should be separated from fact. We were just talking about electric cars. Hummer
Right.
has an electric Hummer coming out at GM, I guess, through Hummer, and they're marketing that thing. It's all 3D. It's not even like there's drivable things running around and all that, but it's not out. Now,
Yeah.
does that mean it's real? Not real? No, this is marketing.
Right. Right.
This is what it's called, right? You might see it a year, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, and they've got to put things out there, and we have to be grown-ups and separate marketing from what reality is. And that's if the ATF has a job, that's their job, okay? Their job is not to make up the rules or make up laws. Their job is just to interpret what already exists. But it seems like in this proposal, they want to bend and twist the rules that already exist and we've all been playing by for a long time.
Right, and along with all of that, the ATF is now saying, well, for the last 50 years, every court that's ever ruled on a gun case has been wrong. So all of
Yeah.
a sudden, they're the only ones that get it right. These people
Hmm.
today are the correct ones, and 50 years of legislation and law has been incorrect.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. And from reading it last night, we were trying to go over it. I don't want to get into that tonight. I really think that there is a lot of stuff going on here, and we should probably all. I think I want people to comment and get in touch with their representatives in Congress and the Senate, etc. I want people to do that, right? And definitely comment and push back on this. But it's going to take some time to figure out exactly what this means. It's kind of confusing. Seems to me like they're saying if this rule goes into effect 60 days later, um, any of these that are existing, so if you have them, let's say, or anyone who's making them, JSD doesn't actually make stuff, do they? Do you guys make do you manufacture these or?
yeah, the P320
Okay.
80% receiver, with that's our product. So we don't physically manufacture it, but
Hmm.
that's
Yeah.
that's our
So,
brand.
and I know someone was asking about that, right? That's the MUP. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah. So someone was
MUP1. Yeah.
Right. So someone was asking about that. So the thing is that if you have them on hand within 60 days, you're going to have to serialize them. Okay. And they're also saying that if it's anyone who's an FFL who's a licensee, it gets their hands on one, they have to serialize them. Um,
Yeah.
is that what it seems like to you?
So the second part of what you said, I agree with that. I don't know about if we have them on hand, what we're
Mm-hmm.
going to have to do.
Mm-hmm.
They may be firearms. We don't know. So
Mm-hmm.
that's another problem with
Mm-hmm.
this proposed rule change is we just don't know, and it should be very clear. I
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't have to guess as to if I'm breaking the law or not. It
Well,
should
I think everything's
be
already established. You guys are
well, yeah,
not breaking the
yeah,
law, and everything's
right,
already established. What they want to do
right.
is make you into lawbreakers, de
Yeah, and they
facto.
want to be able to decide on a case by case basis too,
Hmm.
which you can't do. I mean, you're either speeding or you're not speeding.
Yeah.
You know, so um, I'm not sure what they're going to do about existing parts that we would have on hand, or any distributor or retailer, or
Hmm.
even customers if they have them. I guess they wouldn't. I don't know what they would do. We don't know. It doesn't say.
So you guys don't have any plans right now for the MUP, right? I mean, to change what's going on there, because it sounded like they were saying when we were reading through it that they would want a piece of metal big enough to embed this crazy long serial number um,
Yeah.
and other info into it. You guys haven't. You haven't. Have you looked that far down the road?
Yeah, I mean, ours is the whole thing's metal. It's made out of stainless steel, so that
Mm-hmm.
little fire control unit is the firearm.
Mm-hmm.
So it would meet the qualifications
All
for
right.
the steel. So
Yeah.
we could engrave it if we wanted to. We don't want to. That's why we're in the business we're in.
Okay,
You know.
so
Yeah.
with the MUP, okay, so this is where I'm not 100% clear of what's going on with the MUP because it's similar, let's put it that way, to the P320. The actual firearm is the frame,
Yeah, the metal insert.
the
Yeah.
metal, yeah, the metal insert going inside. So I was assuming that people, if they have their inserts, can drop it into your thing. You guys are actually like you're making that insert, right? That
That
frame.
insert's what we make.
That
Yeah,
rail.
exactly.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. So yeah. So but the way that you're making it right now, it's not serialized.
That's right. Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, we have a determination letter. We sent it down multiple times. Took a year and a half or so.
Mhm.
Back and forth with ATF. So it's not a firearm. I have a letter that says it's not a firearm from the
It's not.
ATF.
So the way that you guys are making it, it's an 80%er. So
That's right.
the person purchasing it would complete it and make it into a
That's
firearm.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, so the interesting part about that is if you read through this, they're saying that they're not going after people who already have these. Is this what it sounds like? I'm
Right.
telling you guys, I don't really know. I'm not clear. I know I posted about it and people are like, hey, Hank, you got to read into this. This looks different. And I don't, I think there's a lot of validity to what people are saying once I keep looking at it over and over again. So it seems like what they're saying is if you already have these, you don't have to do anything. The only problem, a problem comes up if you go to a gunsmith or an FFL for some reason to have them do something for you. They have to serialize it, or if you sell it to them, they have to serialize it.
That's my understanding as well. And then in addition to that, so that's not bad enough. The way that I read it or have discussed with some other people is if a Glock slide, for instance, it houses a striker, so that's a firing mechanism. That's part of what they're saying is is a firearm. If you send that to a company to have Cerakote work done or a red dot sight cut into it or whatever, that slide is going to be serialized and sent back to you.
Mm-hmm.
So with somebody else's FFL number, gunsmith number, whatever it is that you got to put on there. So it's very haphazardly written and
Yeah.
it's not clear on anything. Doesn't make sense. It's not practical.
Yeah. I don't know if you could see the chat, but there's probably a button on your thing if you wanted to see the chat. I am looking at it. Down the Barrel LLC is out there. He says the key is a regular FFL can't serialize them. You'll have to be a Type 7. But I think reading that thing, they're saying that they're putting the responsibility on FFLs to do it, or they're creating a new thing called gunsmiths, which I think gunsmiths have been around for a couple hundred years.
Yeah. They're going to change. They're going to change it, and like you said, add to it. So you're going to get it serialized if you take. Which nobody. I don't understand why this is such a big piece of this law either. Nobody that I know takes their 80% build to a gunsmith or whatever. Right. Maybe I'm sure there are, but very few. Very few. This is such a waste of paper to even write this down.
I mean, this is already the reality. If you can legally make a gun for yourself, right? This is a thing people have already been able to do. They're saying maybe, right, that you can continue to do that. I'm saying maybe, and we're not lawyers, blah blah blah, all the other the BS that goes along with this. So they're saying that's fine. But if you sell it, if you made a gun for yourself and you were getting into most people don't do that to sell it.
Right.
Right now, my understanding, and I'm gonna have Matthew Larossiere on sometime this week, a Thursday. Lola says, right? My understanding is even then you don't have to serialize it, as long as you didn't make it with the intention of selling it. What are you?
That's right. Yeah. Federally, federally, that's the law. So all of my 80% that I've built are for me. I have no intention of ever getting rid of them. But if I do one day decide for whatever reason that I want to sell an AR that I built out of an 80, I just sell it. And I'm in Pennsylvania. There's no requirement for person-to-person exchanges. You have to follow the local law. So if it's a pistol in Pennsylvania, they'd have to have a background check, 4473 done, NICS check or whatever. But federally, there is no requirement to serialize. So this has been the law forever.
Yeah. And they're trying to add this in a rule, quote unquote, which is not the law, which is just something that they're making up, or their interpretation, which you're leaving very loosely open. And then they're saying, like if you take it to an like if it's somehow transferred over to an FFL, I don't think this happens very often.
Right.
That that person would have to serialize it. I really don't think this happens very often at all. I mean, what's your experience on that?
No, I don't know a single one that's been pawned or, traded in at a gun shop or whatever. No, I don't know of a single one. So maybe that happened. Pawn shop, I guess I could see more likely than a regular gun shop, but I don't know.
Most people are not gonna want to deal with that already without them doing anything. No one's gonna want to deal with that because it's something that you manufactured yourself. And what value? Look, I'll put it an easy way so forgive me, people, for taking this back to car stuff. I'm in a van. This is basically a van converted to be like a camper van, and it's done by a company. So it's a Ford van, and then a company gets it. It's a big company. This one's called Coachman, right? They get it. They do all of this kind of stuff. That has some kind of value. If I go, let's say I want to trade this in, and I go to dealerships or whatever, they're like, oh, this is a Ford done by Coachman, etc., right? Like Coachman has deals with Ford and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't mess up warranties or anything. I could take this to a Ford dealership. Okay, if I went to the Ford dealership and bought a van and built it myself into a camper van, I'm telling you right now, there's no dealerships out there that want it from you.
You mean that Hank perfection doesn't add any value to it?
No. It doesn't matter how awesome it is what you did. Right. They don't want it, right?
Totally.
This is just how the industry side of this works. It's like, you did this yourself. There's no name or anything that goes with that. They have no way to value that. They have no way to deal with issues that come up with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it's the same thing in the firearms industry, that what FFL wants the gun that you made?
I don't think any,
No.
Unless they want it for the parts that are in there to sell them to somebody else that's building a gun. That'd be the only reason I would take in somebody else's, built firearm.
Yeah. There's a couple of things here. Putan Clan says, don't feel bad, Hank. I got a video already recorded, and a couple of days later, I think half of it might be wrong now. This is probably the point. Down the Barrel says, they're creating a rule that would bring into effect another rule that would make you have to get a Type 7, then send the proper request in to get the, I think they are laying groundwork. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, again, nothing's set in stone, and nothing is clear. Mm-hmm. So they're going to do whatever they want. That's what they want this open for, is to be able to just do what they want and change their mind as they go. We're already seeing, before Biden got into office, we've had some submissions at ATF technology branch for new 80% receivers, and we're closing in on 3 years on one of them, 2.5, 3 years. So they already do what they want and don't answer. I can only imagine what this is going to bring to the industry if this rule passes, and it's going to affect everybody. It's going to affect Smith & Wesson, Ruger, Colt, CZ, I guess, Sig Sauer, everybody. There's so many different stages of manufacture of a firearm that these congressmen and senators don't realize, don't understand. It's just going to be a complete mess and nightmare. It's going to be impossible to enforce. Think of the millions of guns that are sold. Each one of those starts as a non-firearm at some point.
Right.
It's slowly progresses down the line into a firearm. So we need a definition of what that is and when that takes place. And we don't have that with this new definition. So with the proposed rule change.
Right. Let me just encourage everyone to smash the thumbs ups right now. As you guys are listening to us, I appreciate you all doing that. It helps us out with this ridiculous algorithm that's obviously working against us. Okay, so I was going to ask you about that industry. Like, what industry do you think is affected by this? What part of the industry? Is it just, and obviously you just said something that's kind of an answer to this, but I want to make it clear. Is it just the folks that are making, that are making these 80%ers so that people can complete themselves, or is it the entire industry? And if so, how is it gonna affect the other, the entire industry and the people making traditional guns. Should they just not give a crap about this, or should they pay attention also?
Yeah, I think there's going to be some people that are going to be surprised by what this is actually going to bring and what this actually means. Everybody that manufactures a firearm, and even a lot of accessory guys, are going to be part of this. They're going to be affected with these serial numbers and what is a firearm, what is not a firearm. If they don't know, they need to find out. We need to help them find out that this is going to affect them as well. At least the way I read it, everything's a firearm. An AR-15 upper receiver, that's a firearm. A lower receiver, that's a firearm. Even if it looks like it, again, it says if it appears to be a firearm, then it is. It's everything. Every manufacturer out there is going to be affected by this.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I don't think that the industry should ignore this at all. I don't think the folks out there should ignore it at all. I don't think people should think, oh, well, right now I've got 100 80%ers sitting in my house, so I don't care what they do. What do you think about the people like that? Because I know there are some people who kind of were pushing that sentiment in my direction. Do they feel like they'll be grandfathered in, so why should they care?
Well, look at machine guns. Nobody cared in, the '80s, the early '80s. Well, I got my machine gun. I don't care. Whatever. It'll be worth more money later on. Here we are. Nobody can own new machine guns. That's what's going to happen. That's what they want to happen. The firearms. They take it slice by slice, little by little, and we kind of just allow that to happen. We compromise when we shouldn't. We shouldn't ever compromise, but we give too much up, and this is one of those things we have to take a stand now again and push back on this. So if we can get everybody to make comments that watch your show, watch all the other shows that are out there, read the blogs and are on Facebook commenting there. We need the comments on the rule change. That's where we need them. That's where they make the most sense. That's where they make the most impact. So if you aren't going to support us or you or groups and organizations that we help with, at least make a comment on the rule change. That's the least you can do if you own a firearm or into firearms at all. That helps tremendously. So we need that to happen. We're working on a comment that we can share and use. That way there's a format that you have to use for it to be counted as a comment. You can't just say F you, or on the ATF, whatever. That's not a comment. It doesn't count. So we're working through that. To hopefully have that this week. We'll share it out with everybody. And just use that. That's what we need right now. That's what you can do this second.
Yeah, like a generic reply. When you guys have that, or if GOA has it, or anyone who has it, I'll try to hit me up with that, and I'll push it out there.
Yeah, for sure.
And hopefully, that's what we really need to do. We need to make other people that are gun folks out there, people who have guns, who are interested in keeping their guns that they have, aware of it. We need to make everyone in the industry aware of it, even if this does read that if you already have it, that you don't have to serialize it. They're setting up a step that if we agree to this step, then it's easier to go the next step and say, well, look, we've already got the manufacturers doing this. If you have one that is not within this time frame, you need to get it serialized. They just don't necessarily want to do that now, and they're just going step by step. But the other part of that I would say to people who think that, because these guys don't do grandfathering anymore. Okay, we don't really see that. So what makes you think that Biden, for example, the Biden administration, all their messaging on this is saying they're going after, quote unquote, the evil ghost guns? What makes you think they're going to leave tens of millions of these things that are out there unserialized? I don't want them to serialize it either, but what makes you think that they don't have a plan of going after that? That's what all the speeches and everything is about, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, and we don't have to look that far back either. Look at bump stocks. Those became illegal in this same procedure that we're going through right now. This is what happened with bump stocks, and nobody cared because I shoot birds in the middle of Iowa. What do I care about a bump stock? Or I blah blah. It's a waste of ammo. Blah blah. Whatever that is. But those weren't grandfathered in either. So every single one of those that are out there, that I'm sure they're still out there somewhere, it is a felony, I guess. I mean, it's a machine gun according to the law until the Sixth Circuit figures out what they're doing.
Yeah, according to a stupid executive order, that Trump signed, unfortunately. But yes, in cooperation with the ATF, just like Biden's trying to do. This is an end run, and this is why I think, and a lot of people think, the ATF shouldn't even exist. If politicians are going to be able to use this to end run
Right.
instead of making laws, they need to try to make laws. I don't agree with those laws, but they need to try to do that so we can hold them responsible for trying to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And they just want more power and the ability to do whatever they want. They don't like to lose in court. So this is going to give them that ability to never lose again.
Hmm.
As far as this topic goes, that
Hmm.
if it's up to the director, do you think the director is ever going to side on the citizen side, or do you think he's going to side on the ATF side? And
Yeah.
his agents. We're never going to win that.
Not with someone like David Chipman. I mean,
Right.
a person who's clearly like he's working for the Brady campaign and other anti-gun people. That's not the person you put in charge of an organization that claims that they're supposed to be a law enforcement organization and just dealing with what are the gun laws, right? And this so they're supposed to be impartial. But what they're doing here is facilitating things for whatever administration's out there. In this case, they're facilitating something for the Biden administration to create gun control without actually making laws, and making the politicians responsible for that have to stand up and be counted as doing something that's against the Second Amendment, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And along those same lines with this David Chipman guy, whether he gets in or not, let's say he gets in, and
Mm-hmm.
then the next conservative president that we have fires him, whatever, gets a new guy
Mm-hmm.
in there, and he's wildly conservative and opens up machine gun registration again. You got to think about politics. If the other guy had the same power that you want to give your guy, is that
Mm-hmm.
something that you want to do? So this is very short-sighted. If
Mm-hmm.
it's this easy to create this, then it's this easy to get rid of it as well.
Mm-hmm.
I guess hypothetically speaking, but
Yeah.
um,
I don't know.
yeah,
Yes, I agree with you. I don't know if theoretically you're ever going to see someone from the other side get into the White House again when they could just do whatever corruption they want when it comes to actual
yeah,
to voting, and then the media and even the Supreme Court ignores it. I don't know.
yeah,
We
no,
got a big
totally,
problem. Yeah, we got a big
yeah.
problem here. Have you? This is one of the things I want to ask, and if folks out there have questions, let me know. We'll get them to Jordan. Uh, have you guys seen a big spike in sales when it comes um, to the 80% lowers? And what do you call it? Because someone's asking me what's an 80%er. Like I said, it's an 80%er. So what do you guys call what you're selling? And have you seen a
Yeah,
spike?
it's just easier to call them 80 percenters. It's a marketing term.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of means that 80% of the work is done. So the extra 20% is you, the end user, creating the rest of it. So milling or drilling, bending. There's even some that you have to weld. Different operations like that. But yeah, there's been a huge spike in sales across the board for everybody since number one since Corona hit. Um, then now with Biden being in office and all the mess they're causing, yeah, it causes the exact opposite of what they want to happen. So anytime they talk gun control, the entire industry blows up. Everybody sells everything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so
Mm-hmm.
it's
Yeah,
been pretty wild.
yeah, I can hear that, Lola. Sorry about that, Lola. We're actually doing a podcast. Yesterday, everyone was telling me, "Oh, Lola has to get a microphone." This is why Lola gets no microphone. Yeah. Um. Yeah. Do you want my earbuds or something? Oh. Okay. All right. um. I just gotta bring it to Lola's attention whenever I can. Um. Yeah. So lots of sales out there. Um. That's all. Okay. That's a good thing and a bad thing, I think. What's your thing about this? Like, it seems to me what a lot of folks out there are going to do, instead of fighting back, pushing back, and doing all that kind of stuff, they're just going to go, I'm just going to get mine. Oh, wait, this is a thing. I saw it in the news. This is a thing. Let me go buy them. This is what happens with the AR-15, right? Everyone's out there just buying it. I can still hear it, Lola. I can still hear it, woman. uh, yeah, everyone just goes out there and buys the AR-15s, right? So, this is the same thing. Everyone's hearing about this. They're hearing Biden talk about it or whatever. I don't feel like it's a good thing for people to just go buy stuff and think that's their protection. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, they need to buy it to have it just in case if that's what they choose to do. But um, they can't stop there. Your purchase can't be the only thing you do to secure your freedom. You have to be active. I know you don't want your name on a list. You don't want your name on a comment to the federal government, but you have to do it. Your name's already on a list. If you own a firearm, they know who you are. Make a comment. Stand up for what you believe in. Contact your congressmen and senators and everything like that. You have to do something. We have to push back against these crazy laws that they're trying to impose on us. It's a huge violation of your rights. These are the rights that you have to fight for and stand up for.
Yeah. I really hope that just like how people are hearing about this, I hope people will realize, like, it's not gonna make. Okay, I'm not telling people to not buy stuff from you, right? This is why I think it's a blessing and a curse. But what sense is it gonna make if you have these things? If later on, if they're not making this rule now, they're setting themselves up to make it later on, and then you're gonna become a felon. You need to stand up and fight for this. You need to push back before we get into this. Before we get into a situation, and if you allow these kinds of things to go on without pushing back, when this happens to you individually, it doesn't matter if we're going to all come to your rescue and all that kind of stuff. You're going to be the one getting arrested, getting felonies put on you, losing, if you're going through some kind of divorce or child sharing situation, losing your kids and all that. And this is why we need to pay attention to these damn politicians who just keep layering laws on top of laws, and not really dealing with the issues, and I think that's what Ted Cruz was saying, that these guys are not really dealing with the issues that are going on here. They're just trying to find a boogeyman and tell everyone, oh, this is the boogeyman, we're going to do something about it.
Yeah, totally. So along the same lines with what Ted Cruz was saying today, Josh Shapiro, the Attorney General of Pennsylvania, was on as well as a witness for the Democrats. And he got up and said in Philadelphia, another press conference, Philadelphia had 5,000 crime guns in 2019, and 99 of them were ghost guns. Well, you don't have a ghost gun problem. You don't even have a gun problem. You have a crime problem, and the numbers continue to rise. This year was even more, and all these different heinous crimes were happening. Well, there's an issue with your city with crime, whether it's a gun, it's a knife, it's a bomb, it's fist, it's whatever it is. There's a crime problem, and a lot of this today in their testimony, a lot of it stemmed from drug dealing and drug trafficking. Well, you failed at the war on drugs, so figure that out. We've been failing at that since it started. So drugs are illegal. Josh Shapiro talked about a guy that was arrested, I guess in Pennsylvania, or maybe it was New Jersey, that had a couple 6 ghost guns or something along those lines, and $1 million worth of meth. $1 million worth of meth, and we're talking about ghost guns in a Senate committee. I mean, $1 of meth is illegal, but you're talking about $1 million of meth. I would imagine that's a lot of meth. I don't know.
Not meth. But, not a meth expert either.
So even in their own testimony, they're bringing to light all of these other crimes that are far larger than making your own firearm. And how many guns are stolen and the serial numbers are ground off of them? That's illegal. Murder is illegal.
I don't know. I don't know if people care about the serial numbers being found on it, right? I mean, I don't know if criminals really care about that. I don't know if a lot of them even, if you really check it, like, I think that was an old school thing that used to happen. I'm not saying it's not happening still, right? There's people who think somehow but what does it matter? What does it matter if you're having the crime take place? That's the problem. Those of us who follow the law, we don't commit crimes. That's why we're not felons until they make us that, and so we're not out there doing bad things. We are the people who would in the past follow the law. I'm not planning on following any of this kind of crap going forward. But the real hardened criminals out there who are doing bad things to society don't give a damn about the laws.
Right. Or serial numbers, like you said. I mean, just a gun having a serial number doesn't prevent it from being used in a crime. So serial number, no serial number, obliterated serial number.
Yeah.
If a criminal uses it, it's still being used in a crime. Who cares?
Yeah, I think Ted Cruz was saying that at the same time, a lot of these politicians are the ones that want to defund the police and do all these different kinds of things. You know, it's a funny situation to me. Like I don't think that we necessarily in America need to spend more money on the police, and I also don't think we need to defund the police either, right? I don't think it's as simple as that, but politicians don't want to actually handle that. I think we need to properly vet people who become police officers, and we cannot hire those people just based on sex or race. Right? We need like the right people who are mentally and physically fit to be police officers are the ones who need to be police officers. I don't care what their race is going to be. Now, obviously, I don't want people out there discriminate. I don't want police officers discriminating against people and doing things to them. Of course, I don't want that. But if you vet them properly, spend the money training them, if you properly monitor them, and yes, by the way, the mayors, a lot of these, this stuff is happening in Democrat-run cities or very liberal cities. If you properly control what's going on with the police departments, you would not have these problems, right? When you have problem police officers, you deal with them. Cops don't like bad cops either. So that, to me, that's the solution. I don't think we need to spend more money on cops, get more cops. We just need better police officers. But the point I'm making here, these same folks want to defund the police and not have any cops out there. They want like what is the thing that they're talking about? Community
social workers.
Yeah, some kind of social workers out there. Like, you know, if a woman's ex-boyfriend is kicking in her door, I don't know what a social worker is going to do for you to save your life. You know?
And at the same time, selling loose cigarettes isn't a death sentence by the government either. So, you know, like you said, we need better cops, better training. I don't know. It should be pretty apparent that a guy selling a cigarette out of a pack individually isn't worth death. But there's also bad people out there that do terrible things that they don't necessarily deserve death. But that's what happens when you try to run a cop over with your vehicle or point a gun at them. They're going to shoot you, and they're not going to shoot you in the leg. They're going to shoot you until you stop, which is in your chest or whatever. So, there's two sides to it. And, you know, there's a balance of what we need as far as policing and the government goes. Maybe we make too many laws. Maybe we have stupid laws that shouldn't be enforced at the end of a gun from the federal government or local government too. There's plenty of reform that could be done to help everybody.
I agree with you. I think that's a lot of what's going on. And why would someone? So first of all, why are you afraid of a police officer? The reason why people are afraid of a police officer is because there's a whole bunch of laws, right? So fear is what's going to drive you if you're encountering a police officer to try to evade them, run them over, or do crazy, stupid things like that. A police officer, you should realize, is a person protecting your community. If you care about your community and you're for some reason getting pulled over, you just need to cooperate with that. Maybe you were doing something that was dangerous, and they need to pull you over and talk to you, okay? But a lot of things are happening to people because of fear of what's going to happen, and this is why they're trying to run away. So when we've seen situations where guys are trying to run away because they already have all these things, well, who do we blame for that? You know, let's blame I blame the politicians for making every damn thing illegal.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
For sure, I want the people who do things to kids, I want those people in jail. I want them under the jail. I want them shredded under the jail. Right? You shouldn't try to take things from your neighbors. You know, there's certain things, like I think we just need a limited amount of laws in America, but the laws are so complex, and people don't really want to wind up inside of the justice system. But this is what the politicians keep doing, and now they're taking it to a level where we become felons just because you have a gun that you made yourself.
Right. Yeah, it's terrible. And the Baltimore City police commissioner was on there as well, talking. Some of his major points were that people in Baltimore and in Maryland are driving around with these things in their car. Well, in Pennsylvania, I drive around with one in my car every single day. I mean, so that there's a law example for you where that guy
Yeah.
probably is breaking the law in Maryland or in
Mm-hmm.
Baltimore, city of Baltimore, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
just by having a firearm. So,
Mm-hmm.
that's another thing that's completely nuts is that there's these crazy laws and drastic changes between imaginary borders
Mm-hmm.
between states.
Yeah.
So again, better laws, less laws, do everybody good. It would
Yeah.
save the policeman from having to, be in that harm's way as well.
Yeah. I really think the problem is they don't want to fix things. We want to fix things in America. If you think there's a violence issue in America, it's with people, it's with human beings that there's a violence issue. We've got a lot of things that we could inflict violence on each other with. It's just how nature is, right?
Yeah.
So, and we see people doing lots of things. So the idea that we could just take one or two things out of society and we get rid of violence it's ludicrous and it's impossible because you're not taking away the actual factor of violence, which is the human beings. And you're not dealing with that at all. Like, why are these human beings pushed to violence? And so some of these criminals out there that are actually criminals, some of it has to do with things that we made illegal that don't need to be illegal, and therefore you're creating this industry, this illegal industry that these guys now have to protect themselves because they can't go to the cops for protection if people, it's a whole thing that we. Yeah, we don't want to sit down. We don't want to really deal with it. We just want to go, okay, how can we infringe on the people who actually pay us taxes, who actually follow the law, who actually do good for society, who actually business people, making things, selling things, employing people. Let's go after those guys.
Yeah, it's an easy target. It's an easy win. You get to put your name on a bill and,
yeah,
off you go.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know if we covered that enough for the folks for the folks out there. If you guys have any specific questions on this that you want to ask Jordan, we could definitely get into it here. Brian M says, my fear is if they do pass these new rules, everyone is just going to comply. Do you worry about that?
That's a hard one to think about. I think a lot of guys did not comply with the bump stock situation. I think there's still at least thousands of them out there in private hands that are. So.
I'm gonna say somewhere between 500,000 and 1 million.
Yeah. Probably pretty easily. Yeah. So it's not an open non-compliance. They're privately not complying. So however you look at that, I don't know, but non-compliance is the only way they understand anything.
How many of these do you think are out there? Just out of curiosity. How many of self-built guns are out there?
There's millions. There's got to be millions over the course of the last 10 years. They've been popular. It has to be.
Yeah, more than 5 million, less than 5 million.
Probably more. Yeah.
Okay.
Probably more. I mean, an AR-15, you got to realize that's where it started. Was AR-15s really? That was a popular one. An Ares Armor back in the day, they were kind of the king of that. They were distributing those to everybody. So yeah, I mean, there's tons of them. There's polymer ones out there that are being cranked out by the thousands. The Glock stuff, the SIG stuff, AKs. There's H&K or HK stuff. There's all kinds of different weird firearms out there that are home built. And we don't have a problem with them. We don't have crime problem with them at all.
Yeah, Lola's asking how many of them are used in crimes, I wonder. Well, they don't know. They're just making up numbers right now.
Yeah, they said today that I believe they said 24,000 ghost guns were collected or confiscated or obtained or whatever through crime, but they don't clarify what that is. They don't say if that's a home built gun, if it's a zip gun, normal firearm with the serial number obliterated. They don't say. So it's too hard to actually know.
Yeah. Jen Champ said, wow, I thought this podcast was about my extended warranty. We can get into that if you want to. We could totally do that. So other than the what was it again? The MUP? Hold on. I gotta go back and look at it. Yeah. So other than that coming out, what else do you guys? Yeah, the MUP 247. Other than that,
Yeah.
what other new stuff do you guys have coming out here?
So we are working on a binary Glock trigger.
Ooh,
So
yeah,
we're going to
nice.
have that down at the IV-88 shoot. So
Oh.
we could check that out too.
So that means that you're not. It's close to complete then.
Yeah, I mean, we have it works. We're just waiting on
Okay.
ATF. So.
Oh, you're waiting on ATF, huh?
Yeah, so who knows?
What
May
do you
never
think?
come out.
Yeah, what's the ETA on that, man?
Yeah, we don't know. And we could release it. I mean, there's guys out there that have released stuff similar without letters, and there's 80% frames that are released without letters.
Mhm.
I, I don't know. I don't want to
Yeah.
put my customers in that situation.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to
Yeah.
see how it plays out.
Right. I think that's something that would be highly anticipated by people. What would be the proposed price of that?
Probably say 199 ish,
Hmm.
maybe less. I gotta see what the production costs are and that
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Typically, we're looking at finished models of that as somewhere like 3, 4, 500 bucks.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Are there any patent issues going on there, or that doesn't really matter because people are manufacturing it themselves?
Well, no, I mean, it would be a complete trigger set that we would
Hmm.
sell. So I think we've avoided any
Hmm.
patent issues there, but
Okay.
we'll take a final look at it before we release it. And
Oh, okay. So
go
it's going to
from
be
there.
complete. It's not something that you're putting together.
It'll be a draw. It can go into any factory built Glock. So it'll be a Glock trigger set. So the trigger housing,
Oh,
trigger, all that stuff. Yeah. So
okay.
it'll
It's
be a,
cassette style. Cassette style.
yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it'll look very similar to
Hmm.
what's currently out there
What's
for
in?
a factory Glock, just
Yeah.
modified.
Okay.
Yep.
Gen Champ wants to know which Glocks.
So it'll be Gen 3 at first and do Gen 4 too. That'd be pretty easy.
Hmm.
Then we'll do Gen 5 after that. We'll let the
Okay.
3 and 4 ride it out for a while.
Huh. Huh. Okay. This is actually pretty cool. I might need one of those for my Glock carbine.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see. See what we can
Yeah.
do for you.
Absolutely. Or my some other this other Glock project that I'm working on. Um,
Yeah.
that brings up I think a thing that you and I were talking about in the background, and people were asking to talk about that earlier. And I'm gonna throw this up here. This is from Recoil. And the headline here is "Evidence of Glock Carbine Patents and Proofs." So apparently, the long and short of this whole thing, to get into it with you guys, I believe that it's Recoil that put this out there, but I see there's some other companies now, or other, I think Firearms Blog, etc., have articles on it. It seems like there's some patents that are out there that confirm something I've been saying for a long time, that there is indeed a Glock carbine in the works. Jordan, what do you think about
I think the drawings look a little cheesy.
that? Maybe deliberately so. Maybe deliberately
Yeah,
so.
yeah, probably. So hopefully it's cool. I mean, Glocks work great, so I hope that they can put their ingenuity into the carbine and have something that rocks, rock and rolls. But
Hmm.
we'll have to see. I don't know. It'll
Yeah,
be interesting to see them, deviate from a pistol.
yeah, but from what we're seeing in these drawings and stuff like that, it looks like an AR.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't even look like it uses a Glock magazine,
Yeah.
or
Doesn't look
like
like
it's a
Glock
nine
anything.
millimeter. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So which is, hey, technically ARs, some of them fall into the category of being carbines, right? So Armament and Axis says Glock carbine is a myth, just like Brandon's AK-50. Shame on you, Armament and Axis. Just shame on you. First of all, Brandon's working on that AK-50. It's just gonna probably cost you 50 grand when we finally see it, but he's working on it. And second of all, the proof is right in front of you, sir. The proof is right there. There's patents and things like that that have been. Now, are they gonna call that a Glock carbine? I don't know.
Yeah. It'll be
Yeah,
interesting to see how they market that and what
yeah,
it'll actually entail. Saw they
yeah,
had like an adjustable gas block. It looked kind of interesting the 30 seconds I looked at it. So they have some cool looking stuff on it. So hopefully it works.
yeah. What I've heard, so in the past, there's been rumors out there for a long time that Glock has some kind of carbine out there. And I know I've privately asked people at Glock, like, what's up with that? Just tell me, is there or is there not a Glock carbine somewhere in the vault? And people tell me, yeah, there is.
Oh,
I mean, I think it's feasible to think that Glock is looking into researching and developing different guns, right?
yeah, might as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think now, obviously, these things don't look like a Glock 9mm or 40 cal or whatever magazine fed type of things, which already exist. And that's what more of what I'm thinking in my mind when I say Glock carbine, right? Maybe something that is like an AR pattern, uses a Glock magazine. These kinds of things already exist, but people would like to see them come from Glock because traditionally the problem with these kinds of things is that Glock magazine works kind of weird. You don't get last round bolt hold open reliably on a lot of stuff. So Glock would be the ones to make something and address that situation. But this looks like they're just developing a rifle.
Yeah, that's what it looks like from at least what was released on that news article there.
Yeah, absolutely. So someone's asking if you have any of them. I know this is a joke because he's got wink wink. Jen Champ Jr. says, "Hey Jordan, you got any of them buy build Tootie kits?" Yeah. I don't know if Jordan's going to answer that. Yeah.
We have some kids. I don't know if they're what you're looking for, but
yeah. Rain says, "I'm waiting for 80% CZ75. I want to make my own Jericho 941 in 40 Smith & Wesson. All steel with D Cocker, made in my home in Texas." Oh boy. Yeah, so the thing about the Glock thing that I was going to ask you is, you're obviously in the world of people building their own things and 3D printing and stuff like that, right? You dabble in that a little bit.
Yeah.
Would you say that folks are out there trying to develop this themselves?
Man, there's some crazy stuff out there in the 3D printing world.
Mm-hmm.
We've kind of internally talked about certain pistol frames, and 3 days later, there's one popped up, in beta testing, and like, man, I can't come up with them quick enough, or get them drawn up quick enough. These guys are already out there hammering it. So 3D printing is kind of the wild west right now as far as design and that sort of thing goes. There's so many different people that are involved, and most everybody seems to work together pretty nicely, and a lot of guys test it and then they'll release it, and then they help you if your printer's not doing it correctly or
Right.
whatever. So it's a really grassroots type of community right now, which is totally awesome. So I'm really excited to see where that market goes in the next couple of years, and especially with legislation like this. They didn't really talk about 3D printing. The guy from Everytown tried to bring it up, but they kind of poo-pooed it, and it didn't. The conversation didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah, hold on a second. I'm gonna have to kick Lola out. Hold on one second. This is gonna be a little domestic situation. Lola, you gotta go. You got to go, Lola. I know you hear me, woman. Okay, she obviously doesn't care. Okay, if you guys are hearing Lola on the microphone, my apologies for that. Go get in your Tesla, Lola. Go get in your car. You can't have this conversation while we're doing the show. This is ridiculous. I think that's where we're going to see this kind of stuff come out from. But I wouldn't doubt that the companies themselves are thinking about it. A lot of actual manufacturers have taken a run at doing like a pistol caliber carbine that uses Glock magazines, and no one's really been super successful. I mean, people could tell me out there if they think there's one that's awesome and perfect. I honestly don't really think so.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
there's a lot of good tries and stuff that works, but I don't think there's anything that's like the one.
No, I can't think. I mean, look, I've got the Sub 2000. That's cool. Right, and that uses Glocks. I've got like a few different AR pattern, things out there that use Glock magazines, but I just don't find any of them to be exactly what I'm looking for. And I think people will probably make their own or come close to it, and then maybe push the industry in that direction. Before they do it. What do you see for the future of 3D printing?
I mean, the technology is just getting better and better. Plastics are getting stronger and more durable for what we're doing. I remember a couple of years ago, I thought, man, this is crazy. Who's going to print their own gun? It looks like it's going to explode.
Mhm.
Now I print something probably every week, testing different fun stuff or, weird stuff, whatever. So,
Mhm.
man, the next 5 to 10 years, I think metal printers are going to come down to where, a
Yeah.
lot of guys are going to have one, or you're going to at least know somebody that has one. Hey, my
Uh-huh.
buddy's got one, or somebody at work has one, or whatever.
Yeah.
But the metal 3D printing, when that hits, gun control is already obsolete. We get really
Mhm.
fired up about all this stuff because, of course, it's important. But at the end of
Mhm.
the day, you're never going to stop this. It's whether I'm doing it or Cody Wilson or any of these guys that are involved.
Mhm.
Alex Control Q, these guys.
Mhm.
Ivan. Uh, it's never going to stop. You're never going to stop it. The code's already out there, and it's
Mhm.
only getting easier and easier for us to make our own arms.
Mhm.
Um, and it's just never going to stop. Technology won't allow it to stop.
Yeah. That's very powerful what you just said, man. That just hit me like a wave. You just said that gun control is already obsolete, and that should be on a T-shirt. Do you want to
Yeah.
expand on that a little bit? Like, what's your theory of why gun control is already obsolete? Like, give us some points for the folks out there who, like me, like hearing that, and I hope that it's true. But what are the things that will bring it home for me that really, in the end, these guys aren't going to be able to stop us?
Yeah. So, like I said, the code's already out there. You can't
Mhm.
stop the signal. You see that everywhere.
Mhm.
You can't. It's on the internet. It's never going to be pulled down from the internet.
Mhm.
So you can go print your own frame. I can go to my office right now, or even if I had my printer at my house, and print another frame. If it
Mhm.
breaks, I just print another one. I don't have
Mhm.
to ask anybody to do it. I
Mhm.
just do it. And this is the early, early, early days of 3D
Mhm.
printing firearms.
Mhm.
Like I said, I think the metal is going to come along. Even the plastic's going to get much better. You're going to be able to print anything you want.
Mhm.
It's like the early days of the internet. You really didn't know what it could do. It was pretty
Mhm.
cool, and it was you could utilize some stuff here and there. But
Mhm.
you know, now look at the internet. We do
Yeah.
everything on there. And
Yeah.
printing guns, it's pretty cool. We can do that now, but 10 years
Mhm.
from now, man, it's going to be just a totally different landscape. So
Yeah. It is true, and it is amazing. Like, I remember when people thought, who's gonna look at movies on the internet? The internet's for
right,
sending emails.
yeah,
you
yeah,
know and if it came to movies, people were like, you can just use the internet if you want to check the TV guide.
right,
you
right,
know
right,
but
yeah,
now, I mean, we're looking at movies, and we're getting pretty, depending on what kind of broadband you have, pretty good access on it, and we're getting movies, but we're getting so much more. People are buying cars, people are buying food, getting their groceries delivered. This teaching, schooling is happening
yeah,
over the internet, doctor's visits, etc., right?
right. Yeah, I bought my Tesla on the internet. Didn't even
Mm-hmm.
see it.
Mm-hmm.
Bought it in California, shipped it here. I
Mm-hmm.
actually bought a building. Building across the street from my shop was for sale, and I bought it on my cell phone driving to the gym.
No real
So it was an
estate, no
auction.
real estate
Yeah.
agent. That's
So
so
yeah, I
cool.
mean,
Yeah.
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 But when the internet started, you didn't think of that. That
Yeah.
would have just never wasn't a
Yeah.
possibility. So it's going to be the same with guns, with
Mm-hmm.
firearms. Um, yeah, and even ammunition. You're going to be able to print a lot
Mm-hmm.
of the components of ammunition as well. So
Mm-hmm.
you're just not going to be able to stop it at all.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. Like, and I think people have already made this point. If not in this show last night, they were making it. Hey, if the government is going after these things, and I think this is why they're trying to establish new rules for what's going on here. If they really want to shut everything down, they could shut it down through ammo, right? So, how far away do you think we are from being able to make our own ammo, like 3D printed or whatever? And do you think ammo, like what we think of ammo, has to change in order for that to really be a viable thing? If that's going to be part of them, not being able to stop us from defending ourselves.
Yeah. So I'm not super into like the technical aspect of a couple of these different guys that have printed. I want to say they printed gunpowder out of some couple different compounds.
Mm-hmm.
There's the fellow that John Crump was talking about. I saw him on another show, and I can't
Yeah,
remember his name.
he was on here.
Uh, okay.
Man, he was on this show also. The guy that was making like a different alloy almost
Yeah,
for a projectile. Yeah.
yeah. And he's
Right.
got a primer that's like battery or something. Like you put
hmm
electricity into it, and it
hmm
is good for, like, I think he said 100 or 1,000 ignitions. So
hmm
it's totally going to change the landscape of everything we know about firearms.
hmm
It's totally and wildly going to change.
hmm Yeah. I've seen people doing railguns. Like I know that it's not a serious thing yet. Like I've looked at some videos where there's these guys that have a railgun that you can make, and it's really only punching through empty soda cans and stuff like that. But I think we are moving in a direction of something along those lines, right?
Right.
And for sure, right now you can manufacture ammo at home, sort of. If you know if you've got the casings and primers and gunpowder and stuff like that, but there's bound to be something that comes along that makes this easier to do, and therefore people cannot get in the way of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then yeah, man, I think that we're already 3D printing metal from what like. There's Inconel for sure and
Oh yeah.
suppressors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
Um,
expensive, a machine.
mhm,
So we looked into it a couple of years ago, and
mhm,
just for numbers sake, I think the machine was like 1 million or 1,200,000.
mhm,
I looked again maybe a year and a half ago, just out of curiosity, and a similar machine was like $250,000. So in a matter of, say, 2, 3, 4 years, the price was 25% or
mhm,
less of the original, price 5 years ago. So give it another 3, 4, 5 years. I mean, we could be down to $10 or $20,000. Now that's a lot of money for a lot of people, but
mhm,
there's a guy who's going to spend 20 grand on a metal 3D printer. I'm that guy. I'm going to buy one for 20
mhm,
grand
mhm,
and print stuff out of metal.
mhm,
And that's where plastic 3D printing was years ago too. It was very
mhm,
expensive. It was not affordable. It didn't work that well.
mhm.
And now you buy a printer for $200, $300, and it's printing whatever you whatever you want. I mean, I
Yeah.
print Glock frames. I print SIG grips. A whole entire CZ Scorpion for the most part, it can be printed, except for the
Mhm,
barrel and the bolt, basically. So,
mhm,
uh, technology is 100 steps ahead of politicians and
mhm,
what they want to do. So,
mhm.
um, yeah, it's just going to be crazy the next few years.
Yeah, and regardless of whether you make it legal or illegal, that's not going to do anything to stop people from doing it. Whether it's folks like ourselves who are law abiding and we are going to do it because we can and we have the right to do it, or folks who want to do bad things and they want to go down that path to do stuff, I can't stop those bad people, especially if I don't have the ability to push back and fight back against them, right?
Right.
So, for sure, I do agree with you in what you're saying, and I think especially because the 3D printing is not just taking off because of the gun industry or the gun side of it or what the gun guys want to use it for, right? Everyone's 3D printing stuff.
Right. Yeah, it's becoming a household name or a household thing.
hmm
Um, People print stuff. I know people that buy printers just to print little trinkets for their kids.
hmm
Your kids have them just for fun
hmm
or whatever.
hmm
It's just
Yeah.
it's just not going to stop.
This is just firearms are old tech. They're old technology.
Right.
So like right now you can make pretty reliable things that are, first of all, people are making guns and I don't want to say that they're 100% reliable like traditionally manufactured guns. But people are doing that, and it's getting better and better. But you could probably make things that are more rudimentary, closer to muskets, and
Mhm.
things like that. That would be more reliable. But there's no way to stop this. This is here, and what we need to do is just decriminalize it and figure out other ways of dealing with the problems that we have in society instead of what we're doing right now, which we're basically just creating more problems with all this stuff. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. We
Yeah.
avoid personal responsibility. I mean, that's really at the end of the day what it's
Mhm.
about. These criminals, we need to hold them
Mhm.
responsible, not the tool they're using, not the bad childhood they had, not the
Mhm.
drugs they were on. It's they committed an act, they did something, not all of these other things. Now, We understand that goes into what makes a person, possibly do what they're doing. But at the end of the day, it's personal responsibility. And I think we lack that with the government. We lack that, holding people accountable.
Yeah. If, man, I just want the ability to fight back against people, like that when I come across them. And I think everyone, now obviously, we have that, right? And what we're trying to do is hold on to that. There are people already around the country that don't have that, or don't have access to that as easily as we do. And what we're trying to do is hold up a wall against that spreading all over the country. That's the intention of these folks, And then under what they're going for, I just hope, I know the people listening to this, I know you know it, but I think there's a lot of Americans out there who just listen to traditional media. Babyface is back there, like putting a light on me. That's weird. Yeah, he's creeping on me out there. I know there's a lot of people who just pay attention to traditional media that they don't know any better, okay, than what's going on here, and they don't realize that they're supporting people who are going to totally declaw them. And they're going to be out there in the world with lots of bad people, right? When you've got no cops out there, when you've got more poverty, more unemployment, more boredom with all the different things going on, people getting sick and tired of being compressed, like the kind of control that's gone on in the last year. Like, we've just given these people a license to run roughshod all over us, and they're not going to let go of it. So, and it's, like, imagine when you see stats that 50% of the people in America are depressed.
Yeah. Yeah, when there's no hope, the people perish. So, so this whole year and a half, people are perishing. They're depressed. They have no hope. There's no hope from the government. There's no hope from the media. It's not great. And the government just is taking more and more liberties and more power away from us.
Yeah, it is scary to think out there. I don't know if you saw this, and we've talked about this before on the podcast, and this is kind of like a jog in a different direction here. But there's been like animal sightings. So have you seen the thing with the tiger? Have you seen that? Yeah, I'm trying to see if I could pull it up right now. Where is it? Yeah, let me see if I could pull it up on here. So there's like tigers there was a tiger that got loose in a neighborhood. Let me see if I can. There's video all over the internet. Let me see. I'll pull it up. I'll search for it right now. Tiger. If they don't show me, okay, here we go. So this is going to be from CNN, but here, I'll put it up here on the screen. Okay. Get rid of that. Man who fled with a tiger has been caught, but the animal is on the loose, Houston police say. So,
wow.
So basically, there was this footage. I'm just going to play a little bit of it here if I can. We actually might not even really be able to play it.
The National League, Texas,
So this is the guy here who... let me see if we can get to some... So there was this big tiger just on the loose in Texas, right? That's, and running around a neighborhood. And basically, like, there was an off-duty cop that saw this tiger out, and he had his gun. He had a handgun. And I've had this discussion, like, you don't know what the hell you're going to do with a tiger until you're face-to-face with that damn thing.
That's wild.
And and the first thought you're going to have is a handgun's not enough.
No, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. The second thought is going to be, I'm too close to this thing. And so if you haven't seen this footage, look it up later. It's crazy. And for the people who have seen it, it's insane. There's like a guy has a tiger, it gets loose, it's running around the neighborhood. This off-duty cop is trying to keep the tiger. The guy comes, gets the tiger, and then goes he goes on the run with the tiger. Well, it turns out the guy is on probation for he's got murder charges. Right? So, and he's on probation, and he has a tiger. Yes. This is the world we live in.
Oh my God.
This is what you could come. And here's my thoughts looking at this. I would want my 300 blackout.
Something. Yeah.
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 I mean, even the other day when I saw that coyote, Lola was like, "What is this thing outside?" And I just went outside, and I had like my Glock 43, which I always I home carry, and I went out with that. And when I went outside, I was like, "Damn it! Why didn't I come out? Why didn't I get my 300 blackout for this thing?"
Yeah.
And he took off and started running and everything, but. Imagine it, and that's a little a coyote is a little bit bigger than a cat, like this one was.
Right.
Imagine if it was a freaking tiger.
I'd like to see it, actually.
Well,
That'd be a full story to tell.
yeah, it would be. I don't want to see it. The cops were saying that they didn't want to kill the tiger, so now they've caught the guy. But they no. I'm sorry, that tiger's got to go.
Yeah, it's gonna get shot. Yeah.
Yeah, to me personally, because what if this tiger goes into someone's backyard where their kid is playing?
Where the kid's at? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you can't. I get it. A tiger is a beautiful thing. Okay. The difference between a tiger and a gun is a gun needs a person. Okay? Guns don't think on their own. They don't think or act on their own. Tigers and lions and shit like that,
Yeah.
they think and act on their own independently of us as human beings. Yeah. So for me, if I saw a tiger on my property, that thing has to go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, as beautiful as it is and all that, it's too bad for the person who let that thing go. Someone said Hank will still be running. Yeah, if I don't, first of all, you see a tiger or something, you go in your car. Or go back in your house. You know, Len Holt says it's deep in the heart of Texas. You know, Brick says just knew that was going to be a Florida man story. No, I think it was Texas. I don't think it was Florida man on this. But we have tigers here. I've driven by properties where people had lions and stuff like that.
Yeah, just as pets, or is it like a little zoo type of thing?
There's a lot of circus people live in Florida. So the place where I saw it, the people used to be in the circus, and they had a couple of lions and stuff, and they put the lions in cages on their property right up on the road. So, you know, and sometimes those things get out. You know, so yeah, listen, you don't even if if you just have a handgun and you're facing down a tiger, hey, it's better than nothing, but he's gonna get you.
Yeah, you're probably gonna lose that one.
Yeah, he's gonna get you. You're probably gonna make him mad.
Right.
You know, and as he's running at you and you're scared, you better make sure you put it well between his eyes.
Yeah.
And stop him, because people are gonna act like they're all badass and everything.
No. You're peeing your pants just like everybody else.
Yes, when you see the true majesty of a tiger. This was a Bengal tiger.
Yeah.
The most badass version of a tiger that's not a saber-tooth.
Yeah.
You know, when you see that running down on you, you know, you think you're going to be all badass and hit that thing. I mean, we look at videos of human beings running down on another human being, and they get there before the person could shoot them, or even if they catch shots, they don't stop.
No, yeah, imagine that, whatever 800-pound beast charging you.
Yeah.
Giant teeth.
Yeah. You know, the thing that you want is something like a 308. You know, AK-47. I don't know if 5.56 is gonna help you a lot. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. So that's what would you do? What would you do, Jordan?
I'd get back in my car.
Yeah.
Not leave. I don't know.
Yeah. The crazy Scotsman says a real man would walk up and pet it. Oh, okay. All right. And that was how the crazy Scotsman got eaten.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a dog. A tiger is not a dog, bro.
Yeah.
Not
I'd try
a
one
dog.
at 12 gauge, maybe. I don't know. I wouldn't want to miss, but
12 gauge?
maybe. I don't know. I have to think about that.
I would want slugs. I don't think that
Yeah.
12 gauge, you know.
Probably wouldn't do it.
No, not unless you're right up close. If you have some left when he's right on top of you, mauling you to death. As your guts are spilling out.
Yeah.
If you could put a nice 12 gauge in him, he might decide, oh, I'll eat his guts later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boss Hog says Fort Bend County, southwest of Houston, is where it was. So there you go. Um, 42 Chilled says shorts filled. You
Yeah.
know. Yeah. A Brick says tigers attack people on elephants. What that pew pew gonna do? Yeah. James Miller says a real man would walk away missing his hand. And then Ray Bozzolo says, I don't have to outrun the tiger, I just have to outrun you. Yeah. You know what? If you're in your car, you might be able to run him over.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
think you'd have to kill the thing. Roaming around a neighborhood like that?
That's what I because so like this deputy that was out there the guy came out and got it and jumped in his car and drove off. And now even that the cops have hands on the guy, they don't have hands on that tiger. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna think to myself, like, if that tiger comes across a kid or something, or
Yeah.
or any, just they don't have to. They could come across a big muscle bound. They could come across freaking the Rock. The Rock on his own can't take a tiger.
Yeah. So here's my question. How did the guy come and get the tiger? Like, did he just hook up his leash to him and, off we go?
I think he came and grabbed him by the scruff of the neck. I think the tiger maybe from the video I saw, he came and like grabbed him. So the tiger might maybe recognize him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess.
But a tiger gets this. This is not a thing. These are things with a mind of its. Look, cats. Are you a cat guy?
We got a couple of cats. Yeah.
Oh, you're a cat guy. Okay, you're gonna hate me for this, but cats are evil as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, they're super evil.
Yeah, I don't trust cats for shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cats are the enemy of man.
Yeah.
Okay, they will. A little tiny, little itty bitty cat will frickin' eat you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll carry you out. My Rottweiler doesn't like them either, so.
I don't blame you, Rottweiler. Rottweiler's like, what's wrong with you, man? Why are you bringing
Yeah.
a cat up into this piece?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have seen the things I've seen cats do to other cats are horrific.
Yeah.
I am actually in Pennsylvania a while back. A friend of mine had like two cats on his property, and he'd walk them around like dogs, which is
They hate
ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah.
So these cats, a little kitten came on the property, and they chased this kitten up a tree. He could not stop them. They eventually caught that kitten and killed it.
Wow.
Cats are assholes.
Yeah.
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 Armin and Axis says, "Love my cats." That's good for you. Good for you. I do not like. I think cats are fine outside of the house. But yeah. That's I don't think the tiger was licensed. I think you can actually be licensed in Texas to have a tiger. By the way.
Was it serialized too? Did he have to be taken to an FFL? And
Man, it's probably easier to get a tiger in Texas than to
Yeah.
get an AR. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's Texas. It's Texas. You can get an AR.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's a massive difference between a tiger and an AR or any gun. That gun on its own can't do anything. That tiger on his own, he's in a bad day. He's having a bad day. He's like, dinner. You have problems. So, poor man's machine gun says, I thought Joe Exotic was in prison already. There you go. Okay, so listen, with the time that we have left here, first of all, before we talk about NRA, do you have some stuff you want to talk about? Because, yeah.
I'm talking about NRA.
Yeah. So the NRA situation that's unfolding. I don't know if you're aware of this, but NRA, basically, with all the problems they're having in New York, their brilliant strategy was, you know what? Let's go to Texas and file for bankruptcy over there. Let me see, where is it in the news? I have it. Here we go. Federal judge. I'll pull it up for you for a second. I think you saw this, right?
Yeah, try checking it out real quick.
Yeah, federal judge dismisses NRA bankruptcy case not in good faith. A federal bankruptcy judge in Texas has handed the National Rifle Association a stinging defeat in the organization's effort to leave New York State, where it has been incorporated since 1871, and relocate in Texas. The ruling by Judge Harlan Hale sets the stage for New York's Attorney General Letitia James to move ahead with her lawsuit that seeks to dissolve the association, according to Bloomberg News. The ruling came after 11 days of trial in Texas. Earlier this year, NRA filed for bankruptcy, telling members that it was part of a strategy to relocate to the Lone Star State. But Judge Hale noted in the closing lines of his 38-page ruling, the court finds that the NRA did not file the bankruptcy petition in good faith because this filing was not for a purpose intended or sanctioned by bankruptcy code. That's like the rough gist of what's going on there. What do you think about that?
I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about bankruptcy, but it seems like an organization like the NRA would have good lawyers that would understand how you have to file and for what reasons. So they're a mess. It's a shame because we need organizations like them and the power that they have, and other ones like the GOA and everybody. But and one of them's kind of down for the count. It seems it's hurtful to the entire industry.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that the NRA should have dealt with this a long time ago. The whole New York situation, right?
Yeah.
Why are they in New York for all this time?
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's not a friendly place to the Second Amendment. So I understand. I mean, they were there because that's where initially they filed their what is it? They filed as an organization,
right?
As a civil rights organization and that kind of stuff. They filed originally back in New York. Those were different times. I think back in the late 1800s or something. But they never changed out of there. The last 20, 30 years, they should have moved out of there. But they also shouldn't have, a lot of the bad... Like, I think Letitia James, obviously, it has political ambitions.
I think she's probably going to try to run for governor, I guess. I don't know.
You never know. Yeah. Or president, or who knows, right?
Yeah.
Who knows where that's going. But... So obviously, I think it's that she's trying to dismantle the NRA. I get that. But the NRA itself, under the guidance of Wayne LaPierre, has done a lot of terrible things. Yeah,
it's been poorly managed, poorly run for a number of years. They should have got rid of them. I don't understand why they haven't. Mm-hmm. Just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't help your organization. We don't look to Wayne LaPierre as the savior of the Second Amendment. So, just doesn't make sense to keep them there. I don't understand it.
Yeah. I mean, in times like this, the NRA should be helping folks like yourself. I think they're still functioning. Have you ever heard from them with all this stuff that's going on?
No, never.
Okay. It seems like horribly mismanaged. Wayne LaPierre should step down and step away from the company. There were rumors that he was going to do that about a month, 2 months back. It hasn't materialized. Hopefully now with all of this going on, I would hope he would do that. Right now he's probably thinking more about himself than this terrible attack on the Second Amendment. The NRA should have played a bigger role in lots of different things that have been going on here for the last 4 years. Especially after they endorsed Trump. They didn't really... obviously I think they were probably maybe the only people who did have a little bit of influence on Trump, but they didn't stop him from a lot of... Like, they encouraged him to go in the direction of signing that executive order in regards to bump stocks.
Yeah, that was a weird move. They claimed 4D chess or whatever you want to say, but it backfired horribly. It was stupid. You just don't know what's going to happen. You don't open yourself up to something like that in hopes that the federal government sides with you. I mean, it's just silly.
Yeah. Brian M. wants to know if the NRA is actually doing anything to help gun owners. Anything. They say they are.
Yeah. I think they still have some good people though working behind the scenes and doing some stuff that is not publicized as much. Um, they've done some stuff in California recently, I believe, or at least some of their lawyers have.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're doing it based, representing the NRA or just their own
Mm-hmm.
law firm, but they've been working out there. I know.
Mm-hmm. I think that I think for the most part, the NRA has been kind of useless. They're getting more money than GOA. I see people mentioning GOA and other organizations like that. I would hope that other organizations would step up here and get the money, and that would get decentralized in terms of not just the NRA getting all this money and then getting greedy and mismanaging it and doing all these things. I think if the reason why we see a lot of Republican politicians have lost their spine or their backbone is because the NRA is not really there propping up their freaking backbone, and then other money has come into play here from the Bloomberg side, and so those guys are really not functioning to help us in any way. Those of us in the gun community, people who are fighting for the Second Amendment. So I think it's a massive loss that we've taken because of what the NRA has been doing, and at this point it's probably totally useless because LaPierre is not going to step down, so he's going to let it burn down around him, I guess, instead.
Yeah, which is totally unfortunate. They could be back to the top again in 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Get rid of LaPierre and get back to what you should be doing.
Yeah.
Support the second, support people that, in politics that support the second, and rock and roll, man. Get everybody together. But that's not what they're doing.
Yeah. At this point, it's probably, just totally lost. I know that's tough for a lot of people out there to think or to hear us say, that we're not behind them and all these things. I think that if they would have spent time focusing on what was actually happening in the world, they would have moved out of New York. And if they hadn't wasted all this money, they wouldn't have opened up the door for New York to go after them.
Right. Yeah, being in New York's a death sentence. I mean, you shouldn't have been there to begin with. And then also, I don't know how the organization's set up, but you can't let Wayne or any director have that much power over all of the money or that amount of money. So yeah, it's just unfortunate. When we need them the most, they're gone.
Yeah. So, I think if they would have spent more time trying to help out other organizations, other people, instead of really going the route that they went, where they just wasted all of this money, this would be a different story, right? I think people will people will be fighting for them more, but I think a lot of us just don't really care about them, and when we look at it, it's just sad. I was listening to LaPierre testifying in a conference call. Somehow I got the number to listen in on that, and it was just sad and pathetic.
Yeah.
To listen to. I don't know if you heard about any of that, but
no, I didn't.
Yeah, he was actually there's one of the lawsuits going on, and he was testifying. He was getting questioned and stuff like that, and he was doing a terrible job. He wasn't paying attention to his own lawyers and their advice. Even the judge was like, "Listen, I don't know how many times I'm going to tell you. Answer the question. That's it."
Crazy.
And they were asking him about, so for example, if they would expense stuff on a trip, they would add 10% to it, and there was just all this craziness that was going on, all this waste and mismanagement, and then he turns around and starts firing all the people who he hired, and just lots of craziness going on in that organization. So
cut him loose.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, listen, man, we've run over the 9 o'clock hour. Time's gone by real fast, actually. Yeah. So, I don't know if you guys have any further questions and things like that for Jordan of JSD Supply. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna ask him to tell you all how you can reach out to these guys, find out stuff from them, and all that. Find out when the binary is coming out. When the MUP is coming out. All that kind of stuff. Tell the folks out there how they can follow you guys, get more info, communicate, etc. Hold on one second. I think you're breaking up right now. Hold on. Yeah, right now you're right at that moment your internet decided to go. Yeah, start it. Yeah, take a run at it again. Sorry.
My kids are probably streaming all their Netflix
Yeah.
and video games and who knows what right now. They're
Yeah.
tired of waiting for dad, I guess.
Yeah,
But
exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
So JSDSupply.com. Check us out there. Instagram, Facebook, JSD Supply. We post most of our stuff on Instagram and Facebook. So yeah,
Awesome.
thanks for having me on, Hank. Always
Oh,
awesome hanging out with you.
absolutely. Same here, man. Thanks for coming on. I really do appreciate it. I know this is like busy time for you guys and lots of good stuff and bad stuff. I know how that crazy that is, you know. Um, just because I know like genuinely you guys believe in this. You're not just making something to put it out there and make money, which there's nothing wrong with that, but you guys are genuinely into this and willing to stand up and fight. So it's kind of like these kinds of times, man, are the times that test, you know,
Yeah.
your metal.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
So
thanks for the support, man. You've always, treated us well and supported us. And
yeah,
so we try to do the same. So
same here, man. I want to and I need to do more. I look forward to seeing you out at in Georgia at the IV 88 event. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna run in the end here, and then we're gonna come back. We're gonna get some. Jordan, you're gonna give us the words of wisdom as we get out of here. So um, I'll give you a couple of seconds to think about it here. I want to thank everyone for watching us here. Make sure you guys check out Barnauls. Okay, they're makers of performance steel case ammunition. Excuse me. You know they're getting more shipments and supplies coming in every day. Let me run in the end here, and we'll be right back. Alright guys, thanks for watching. It's been a fun show. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Smash the thumbs ups, ring the bell so you can be notified every time we go live. We're going to rip the audio out of this and throw it up on iTunes and all your other favorite places to get your audio podcast from. Don't forget to check out US Law Shield. There's a link in the description. You guys can sign up, save some money. Also go to hankstrange.com. And make sure you check out JSD Supply, man. You're building something. You're looking for that parts kit, that build you want to put together. You want to get a couple things and stash them off. Make sure that you fight and you comment and all that. And go get your stuff from JSD Supply. Jordan, what words of wisdom would you like to hit the folks with before we go?
yeah, never give up. Keep building guns. Print more guns. Build more guns.
Absolutely. Amen. All right, we're out of here, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace.